Only thing I would say is that what they are saying is Parliament can make any law which says that you cannot challenge this in court, except only for procedure, which means citizens are deprived of the right to challenge in court the decision made by the executive. Now this is contrary, that means Parliament supremacy reigns, but cannot, because the law is very clear. The recent case by the federal court, delivered by Tan Sri Zainon Ali, the case is Samane Jaya Sediran Berhad against PTD Hulu Langat, says very clearly, we have in our constitution separation of powers. The judiciary must check whether or not Parliament or the executive has exceeded their powers. If they have, then they will have to make an order, especially with regard to fundamental rights affecting people's rights to travel, to be detained, and so on and so forth. And this decision of the federal court said that judicial review is the way, is part of this rule of law. Because if you don't have ability, if a citizen doesn't have the right to come to court and say that someone has abused their power, then there is no rule of law. This is what the federal court said, right? So it's very clear. That is what I raised at the ending just now when I rose up after the judgment. So we will of course be appealing this decision, because it can create a crisis, a constitutional crisis, because of course the executive wants to protect itself. It will always say, oh, you cannot review our decision, you have no right to review, except on procedure only. If you make some procedural mistake, that cannot be. You know, in a functioning democracy, this is what Tan Sri Zainon Ali, judge of the federal court, made very clear, that you cannot have this. She described it as a sacrosanct principle. And this was only decided in April last month. So that's very important. Huh? And then of course this question of travel, they said, oh, this is something to do with another country. It's not, because it's nothing to do with other country. Other countries not stopping, you see. Other countries inviting, but you are stopping. So when you stop, then that is where you are restricting a person within the country. It's not just a question of, we never challenge that she is not allowed to move around in the country. Of course she's allowed to move around in the country, earn a livelihood and so on. That is not the issue. The issue is, she also has, in this day and age, travel is very critical. All right? Okay? We send our children overseas for studies. We do all kinds of business overseas. We interact with the globalized world. We wanted to join the TPP, right? So that is to have interaction. So it is, if you stop someone, whether it's a businessman, whether it's an NGO, whether it's a person fighting for certain rights, whether it's someone going to receive a reward, that is a very critical right in this day and age. And there is a very clear pronouncement by the Court of Appeal, which says that personal liberty includes the right to travel abroad. Yeah. So for these reasons, we have no choice but to appeal to get the Court of Appeal to reconsider these issues. Thank you.